Hi, it's Arlie. I just finished this sketchbook, so I wanted to do a flip through so I can put it away. So first of all, I have a fan going. I don't know if you can hear it. It might be like a little hum in the background. I apologize. And the other thing is, I don't know if you remember, but I've kind of always had a little bit of a cough, and I think I figured it out. It's irritation in my throat from something called silent reflux, which is like really, really light reflux that happens at night. So I've made some adjustments to my diet and I'm changing some supplements and stuff, but I still do cough a little bit. And when I do, I usually go like this so that I can edit my cough out. So I just wanted you to know, I think I've figured it out, and I'm excited that I figured it out, but it doesn't mean my cough is completely gone. So if you've been following me for a while, you know I've been coughing for a while. So this book, I want to put a plug in for Koval sketchbooks. And I've ordered a few of their sketchbooks. They're handmade. They come with different paper. This one, I think I ordered this one based on size, and I was dismayed to find out that it had cold press, which is bumpy, and it's sort of cream colored, not white. And then as I've gotten better at painting, I've realized that the bumpy off-white paper is actually quite a pleasure to paint on. So I think I personally wasn't ready for this paper yet. But the reason that these books are so cool is they're lay flat. They're stitched so that you can, if you want to, paint across a spread. It's a kind of stitching where there are, if you've seen my handmade books, I don't know if you can see, if you've seen my handmade books, they're little bundles of sets of pages called signatures, and they're just a couple at a time. So here there are only two pieces of paper made into one signature, which ends up being 8 pages per signature, 8 sides of a, you know what I mean? 2 pieces of paper, 8 sides, 8 pages. So anyway, Koval, they seem expensive. They're completely worth it. They come in every different size. And if you're a beginner or you're more of a drawer, you might prefer a hot press, which is flatter. And then cold press, I think, is a little harder to navigate, but it actually takes paint very well. The other thing is about my sketchbooks, I don't work from front to back and work in one sketchbook. I actually have over there, I have a set of sketchbooks, and they vary in size and in layout and in paper. So I think about what I feel like painting, what I want to paint with, and then I choose the sketchbook to match. This one I did kind of rush the last couple pages just so that I could make this video because I was excited that I was so close to the end. So blah, blah, blah. Now I'm going to do the flip through. And sorry, they also aren't consecutive order, but they all cover basically last June until this July. So June of 2022 until July 2023. So they're a little out of order. Like I did this one 2 days ago, and I did this one a year ago. So I'll just flip through them and maybe I'll make some comments. Let's see, what am I working on? And in this is watercolor, and I'm working on trying to get trees accurate and trying to do paths, and the difference between paths and streams of water, flat, you know what I mean, streams, to make them look like what they are. Shadows are really exciting for me to work on right now. And I think I'm just about ready to work on clouds because I don't like this. I mean, it's pretty, it's kind of artistic, but it's not what I wanted it to look like. This was, last year I was at the marina, and actually we're going again this week. And I painted a painting where everything was kind of off. It was off and I didn't like it. And I came right home, put all my supplies away, got this book out, and this was my first painting in this book, and I did it with gouache, and I love it. And it takes gouache really well. And what's kind of cool about the cold press paper is that you can use a dry brush, which is where you squeeze all the water out of the brush before you pick up some paint, and it shows the little, the texture of the paper. And I think that worked really well here. And this was right when I decided I was going to start to get into urban sketching. So this has a little bit of an urban sketching look to it, but I just feel really pleased. Like, this feels a little more advanced than my usual painting, even though it was a year ago. But yeah, I felt really good about this. This is from a photo of that my dad took of my mom before I was born. So it would have been probably around 1960. She's leaning against a sports car and she's holding some grapes. And I keep thinking, so my favorite artist is Toulouse-Lautrec, and I like how he worked between paintings and prints. And I keep thinking there's got to be a way to convert this photo into a painting that I can make it look like a Toulouse-Lautrec print. So you might see this a couple of times in different sketchbooks. This was plein air, at a garden here in town. And on this one, I tried this thing. Can you see this orange in the background? That's acrylic gouache, which really is flat acrylic. It's not gouache. They shouldn't call it gouache, but it's, so I used some different colors for the background and then I painted over it. And I'm not sure why, but it just ended up really dull colored. But, you learn. This one, I think I painted this in studio from a photo, but this is another one that I tried an undercolor. I tried a really, really, really hot pink and painted over it. And that one is a little more sparkly and fun. It's the painting sort of takes on the color that you put underneath. This one I did, these are these little white flowers. I forgot what they're called. If I can remember, I'll put it in a thing or in the comments or something. But I did this same photo I used the same photo and painted twice. I did this one on this cream paper, and then I also did it on black paper just to see if I could make my brain see the flowers in two different ways. It was pretty fun. I'll insert that here, the black one. I went to the lavender fields at Denver Botanic Gardens, Chatfield Farms last year, 2022, and actually I went before the festival when the fields were good, but there weren't many people there. This one I did in plein air, and this, I think I did these both sitting in the same position. This one I did in pastels, and this one I did with gouache. I can't remember, one of these I might have done in the studio, but does it matter? In one of them I was sitting there, and in the other I went back to the studio and tried again. This is from a photo I found online, and it's a photo, I forget where, I think maybe I have it pinned. I really love aspen trees, and this photo captured what I like about aspen trees. So I painted from a photo, which you are allowed to do. If you're just painting for yourself and for practice, you can use other people's photos. I'm never going to sell this. This is probably the only place you'll see it is here and on Instagram. And in both cases, I'll make sure that I say where I got it and what I was doing. But I wanted to capture that photograph as a painting and work on my ability to paint the white aspen trunks. So if you ever did want to use somebody's photo as reference for a painting that you intended to eventually sell or make a print of it, you do need to contact that photographer and either get their permission or find out if they're willing to sell you the rights just in this one case. And if not, then don't use it. Find something similar and just do it like this. Do it for practice and then paint your own from your own photo maybe. And there are tons of reference photos that are allowable. I forget what I was doing here. I think I was just intrigued by a plant that I have that has different colored leaves. And I'm trying to date everything, not because I want to make it official, but just because I want to keep track of kind of where I am in the process, not in 2022 is when I was working on lines and, let's see, not that one. This one's all painted, but in some of these I'm working on adding line Here I am saying an example, but then I don't have it. Here, pencil on paint with line and paint together. I was trying to do a wrong color painting. Like it's all right, but the colors are incorrect, which is another way to stretch your brain. This is, I went up to a park near me, and actually I looked at this just today and I was like, wow, I guess I'm better at painting water than I thought. I remember being really frustrated by the water, but looking at this, I feel like here, I feel like I really kind of caught the reflection and the movement. And water's hard to paint. So, but I went there by myself. It was fun. And this is, what is this? Oh, this is a quickie that I did. I meet up with a group of painters, and I remember feeling distracted and not very inspired, and so I just decided to sort of just be relaxed and gentle on myself and do whatever I felt like doing, and that's how it turned out. And then in the same area, I turned and looked up into the tree and just did the leaves. These aren't great, but you know, the sketchbook is for practice. I went with my husband to Julesburg, which is where a lot of his friends, this is where a lot of his friends go racing. And it was really hot, and I was sitting inside our trailer. We brought a camper, and I sat on the steps of the trailer. This is the end of the track, and everybody brings their trailers out, and that's where they roll their cars off so that they can go race them. Because then when they get off, all they have to do is come down the little return area and load their cars back again, drag racing. So, I don't know. I was just trying to combine line and paint, feeling really unsuccessful about it, but I like the clouds. Another play. This one feels really dimensional. I think I drew on this one a lot, so if you go in deep, there's some interesting things going on. And this is my stepmother and a friend of hers, and I think it's an old high school photo. So no one needs to know that story. As far as I'm concerned, it's two girls. But they were both wearing blue dresses, and I don't know, I just thought it was kind of cool how they were posing and they looked the same. I wonder what the story is. This is also from a photo from my dad. It was a snowy day, and I was trying to represent snow. I suppose I shouldn't have painted the sky yellow. I did pen and then I painted. This is from New York, by the park. I can't remember if I did this on site or at home. I think I did it on site. No, I think I did it at home. But it was autumn when we were in, so I think I was home by then. It was autumn, and so all the leaves were turning, and so I painted the background with acrylic gouache, which it's flat acrylic. It's not any kind of gouache. It's actually acrylic. But I painted it with orange first, and then I painted over it, and leaving some of the orange showing. I also faded it. So I went from dark red here up to orange, kind of yellowy on the edges. And it I don't know, I think it adds vibrancy and movement to do that. Just trying some self-portraits. Also trying to understand that I don't need to always be accurate. I don't think either of these look like me, but I mean, does it matter? This is from a photo of the Stanley Hotel. I think we went there and I took a bunch of photos, and then I didn't like any of them, so I took somebody else's photo from online, painted it. I think I should probably go back and put the name of that person here. I'm pretty sure I put it in my Instagram post. But because it's the Stanley Park Hotel, which is where The Shining was supposed to have taken place, I thought it was appropriate to do a base of this red color, the red rum, and then paint on top, and it gives kind of this, I don't want to say bloody, but it kind of makes it look kind of creepy. And then this is a photo if I can find it, I'll post the photo that I used. It's a black and white photo that my dad had, and I thought I would use it to practice composition and painting and values. And I tried painting it 2 different ways. In this one, I eliminated the tree that was growing in front. So just practicing, practice. This one, I got the tree nice and dark here. And this one, I couldn't really get it to go dark, or I gave up. I don't even know where this photo is of what location. This is from a photo I took in New York City. And again, just working with the autumn colors. And one of the things that you're supposed to do is you use your yellows and reds to bring things forward, and you use your blues and grays to push things back. And so I think I was working on that, and also trying to show water. I don't know if this looks like water or not. And this was when I was in the mood to paint, but I wasn't feeling very capable. So I took a photo of my grandmother standing in front of a rose bush, and I just sort of played with it. And, like you turn the TV on and have a glass of wine and just sort of goof around. So that's what this was. Another self-portrait. This one I really like. I went to Santa Fe last year, and 2 years ago. Last year? Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, last year. And this was the parking area for our Airbnb. And I've been trying to learn how to paint shadows, but I'm also interested in how you paint when you can see through a tree. So in gouache, when you paint a tree and you can see the sky through it, and then you add the sky later, they call that sky holes, which I love. But in this case, it was spring, and this tree was really sort of transparent. And so, sorry if you can hear my dog barking outside. It was at that point in the tree's growth where the leaves were all really tiny, and the tree had that sort of cloudy, fluffy, invisible look. So, it was really transparent and wispy. So you could see the sky just sort of shining through it. And the sky was just this deep blue, and the sun shining on the red wall and the shadow. It was just really I took the photo thinking, I'm gonna paint that, and then I did. And then also, this is when I was thinking, my favorite compositions are X's and Z's. So if you look, when I do have time to put together a composition and I'm not just goofing around, look for a Z or an X. Because it's not like I'm deliberate, but that's the layout, that's the composition I tend to feel most comfortable with. This is from a photo I took in Japan. And I really like in gouache how you can paint light on top of dark on top of light. And so I was just trying to work on the depth without feeling obligated to paint every leaf and every stick and every twig. Iris and gouache. Iris are much harder than you think because there's a lot going on and you have to decide what's important. So although I like this, I remember being frustrated at the time when I was trying to paint it. This one, I think I like the background better than the flower. And in watercolor, once you've painted on your white, you're done. Unless you go in with gouache to bring up the white again. And I think I went in and painted this and I didn't hold off on some of the white areas. So I probably should have used masking fluid or something to hold off some of the whites, because this plant, tulip, actually had a lot more white in it. I remember being sort of disappointed with the flower, but I really like this sort of fuzzy background. The neurographic is a really interesting idea. It's kind of an art therapy technique where you basically doodle. And so what I did, you have to look at my Instagram, but I think I took a pebble and I chased it around the page with a pen. And then I filled in the areas to make sure they were connected. I fattened up some of the intersections, and then I painted it with watercolor. So it's just a random shape, and to really make it random, you you know, because anybody can doodle, but the one that I saw, she was chasing a marble around the page, and I didn't have a marble, so I got a round rock. And so that even went more weird places. So that's an interesting thing to do. It's kind of fun. And it also is painting practice. Like, I learned about, you know, I should have let some areas dry and flowering, and or whatever you call this, blooming. So still learning watercolor, but so this is called a neurographic doodle. Then this is painted with these handmade, sort of natural, earthy colors that I just got recently. They're some different people on Etsy who make handmade watercolors, and a lot of times they're from like ground up dirt and rocks and plants and stuff. And so it's not like chemical paints, they're natural paints. And so this is from a photo I took in Point Roberts, Washington, which was much more green and vibrant, but it seemed really natural to use these new handmade paints. And now looking at it, I'm extremely happy with this. This feels, even though the colors aren't 100% accurate to the photo, it has the feeling that I want. Then another side story, I found a book of photos that my great-grandmother published. I bought it online from Australia, and they sent it to me, and I've flipped through it. I made my own cover for it because it was missing the cover. And I did a blind contour drawing of one of the flowers that she took a photo of, and then I painted it over. So that's that. This is more recent. I have no idea what I was trying to do, but I'm still learning watercolor. This is from a photo that I took at the gardens. This is a cactus, but there's a couple of little areas that I really like this. I just feel like just on its own, they're just really satisfying to look at. From a photo I took in Japan, I really liked working on this. I think I probably could have done fewer lines here. This was really fun to draw and paint. I realized when you use the little teeny tiny paintbrush, it's almost like you're drawing with a marker. This is using those natural paints again. And it's a photo that I took in Japan of a little garden sculpture. I probably could have gone darker in the background to make the sculpture come forward more. This is a sunny path in the gardens. Denver Botanic Gardens, Chatfield Farms this year. And one thing I'm trying to work on right now, so this is just a couple of days ago, is to use the paint direct from the pan and not mix quite as much and use colors directly. So, you know, these colors don't match up. I don't know how to explain it, but to be okay with the colors the way they hit the page and not try to mix and mix and mix and fix. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm right at the end. So then I just sort of threw some things together. So I painted the pan that I had been painting with, and then it sits on top of a bandana that's all faded, and it has little tan pattern on it. So I started with just this, and then I thought, let's just go for it, and I filled up the rest with different tints of this same sort of feeling. Then I painted lavender from a photo and kept practicing the same 2 or 3 branches over and over. And then this, I just finished this today. I started yesterday. I painted the iris yesterday, and I painted the droplets today. The only droplet I really like is that one, that big blobby one. And then this thing, whatever you call it. I like that, those 2 things. And that's the last page of the book. This is the endus piece, or whatever you call it. And then I've done this, and I'm going to write 6/11/22 to, what's today, 7/26/23. So I'm going to write that here and put it away. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope I didn't bore you, and I didn't cough once. Bye.